Hi guys, Jordan from B&P Campers. Just going to do a handover video now on your Autotrail Tracker EKS. So actually if we start under the bonnet, so we got on the left hand side here, we've got the washer fluid at the top, power steering fluid under this little cap just here, and your engine coolant sits here at the front in this reservoir, the pink looking fluid. And you've got your brake fluid attached to the servo just down the back there, engine oil here at the top of the engine, and you check your engine oil level from the dipstick with the red top just down there at the bottom. So pretty much everything sort of fluid wise is over on the left hand side of the engine bay. The rest of it is air and battery related. So we've got this sort of scoop part here which needs to be kept reasonably clean if you want to sort of make a good seal on here. Air filter itself sits under this little cap down here, and your actual engine battery sits under the floor in the cab just in front of the passenger seat. So you can't get to that from inside the bonnet, but if you do want to jump start the van at any point, you've got your positive terminal for your engine battery just here under the cap, and your negative is this little prong that sticks out just here at the front. So if you can get your positive and negative under that on this little cap just here, on that positive, negative, and you see down there only for jump start. Your chassis plate, original Fiat chassis plate, is this one just here, but then this one here on the left hand side which says Autotrail on it is the one that you need to actually go off basically. I think it's pretty much the same, very similar, but yeah, basically that's the one you go off because that's the one that Autotrail have redone. And this one just here is your paint code, so it's 249, which is a pretty standard colour anyway, Fiat 249. Air conditioning details just here as well, but you know, you shouldn't really need to know any of that to be fair, but if you ever do need to get to that, your aircon pipes are these ones just here. So carrying on the passenger side, I'll just show you the way to actually release the bonnet. Is this little lever just here inside the passenger door, and you've also got down here is your diesel filler point, so you will need your ignition key to take that out. So you literally put the ignition key in there, turn it, and it'll come out easy. So that's there. So next on the still on the passenger side is your gas locker, which I've got hooked up at the moment on the I don't know if you can see that through there, but there's a little stay down the back there, which is a nice strong sort of catch on there as well. So you've got a standard single pigtailed regulator on there, so it's a bulkhead regulator, so it's it complies with the age of the van on the regs. So up here you've got a little bit of a, you know, showing you what the actual regulator does. It does tell you on that, but I will just show you this little yellow lever here on the right hand side. You don't need to touch that at all. That's only for us when we're doing a pressure test from this little valve at the front. So this little black valve and this yellow lever, do not touch that because it won't make it. All it will do is stop the gas coming through to the van. So yeah, you don't want to touch any of that. The actual bottle itself, I've got it on at the moment, but basically anti-clockwise around to the left will turn the bottle on. It does say on the top, obviously it's a bit hard to get your head in there and see, so anti-clockwise around to the left for on, clockwise around to the right for off. When you actually turn the bottle off before you start driving or whatever, don't do it too tight. You don't need to be really tight when you turn it off, just so that when you keep going and get to a little bit of sort of pressure when you're turning, just give it a little bit more, and that's it. You don't need to go super tight with it. But yeah, when you go to changing over to another bottle, you literally just need to get a spanner on this nut here, undo that, pop it on your new one, tighten it up. So couldn't be much easier than that, really. Nice and easy. That is a brand new bottle in there as well though, so that'll last you a really long time. Doesn't matter how much you're using in the van, it will just last you a long time. Anyway, in this locker just here, there's not really that much to show, I don't think. Your awning winder is just in here, so obviously the awning winder itself literally just slots into that part of the awning at the left hand side. Wind it out as far as you want to, drop your legs down, and if it is a little bit windy you can pop a couple of tent pegs in the feet of your legs, and that'll stop it from sort of coming undone. But really it's quite easy. I can't really show you with one hand anyway, but you know, once you've got it out, you'll see there's two sets of legs, or two legs inside the actual casing there when you bring it out, and they literally just pop out, fold down, and then you put them to how tall you want them, put your pegs in, and that's it. Although I remember you saying that you had a Traco before now, so you're probably, you know, pretty clued up on all that kind of thing. So anyway, so these two vents just here to the left of the door for the fridge, and if you had it lit up on gas, you'd be able to feel hot air coming out, or warm air at least, coming through the top of that. So you should be able to see in there, there's a little bit of an exhaust. So yeah, they're both just for the fridge. Catch for the door comes onto here and latches in when you actually open the door up. So if I just show you, open that right up, catches in like that, and then pull it away like that, so it's nice and tight. This is a D-bar, so you can use it as a way of getting in. So you can literally use it as a way of getting in, or if you have the door shut, you can pull this little button down and then pull it across and use it as like a secondary lock if you want to. So this one underneath here is your fresh water inlet. So obviously that will lock up on one of your keys on the key ring as well, but push in and round to the right until it stops, and then you can turn that lock in the middle and it will lock itself up. The one next to that is a external gas point, so you can have your sort of external barbecue or something like that attached into this bullfinch fitting. So don't get that confused with the water one, which is on the other side, but you know, I'll show you that now. You've got as well, I won't open it up because it'd be right in the way, but you've got this locker down here which literally opens all the way out, and then gives you access to using all the way through to here basically, I think. Yeah, lots of space in there, so you can pull that all the way out. Fresh water drain is this one just here, the blue one at the bottom, and your wastewater drain is this grey one down here. The actual toilet cassette itself is nice and easy. I'll show you what I did there. So lift up on the orange tab and then pull the actual cassette out. When you're emptying it out, you need to hold down the orange button when you're actually emptying it out from this front part here. And then once you've done that, you need to fill it back out with a cap full of the blue fluid, or a cap or two. Yeah, so that's the toilet cassette. This is the bullfinch external water point that I was talking about. So it's very similar to the gas one, but obviously it's hot and cold water instead. So that's where that is. Your boiler vent is this one just here. So again, if you had the boiler on gas or even electric as well, you feel hot air coming out through that as well. And your hookup point is this one just here. So that closes back over like that. It is quite hard to open back up, just so you know, because it's brand new, but there you go, that's how that works. In the cab, the handbrake sits on the right hand side just here, so just be careful when you jump out. If you notice these little fuses down here, you don't need to worry about any of those. That's all just for the marker lights and things like that on the actual van itself. It's basically like a D plus unit is what you'd call it, so you don't need to worry about any of that. I'll just jump in now. So in the actual cab itself, you've got a 6-speed manual gearbox, where reverse is, got a clutch down, lift up on there, over and up to the top left. So that's where you'd find reverse. Obviously first all the way through to 6th is exactly the same as a normal car, but you know, really these drive so nicely, so smooth, and especially when you're on the motorway, the revs sit quite low, so you know, for a motorhome it's you know, spot on. In this van you've got air conditioning, so as long as this part here is above the 0, so 1, 2, 3 or 4, you'll be able to use your air conditioning button, and then that'll basically just straight away start getting cold if you've got it on cold, or start demisting the screen, you know, anything you'd like it to do. You've got this little part down here is to draw air in from outside, or you can turn it all the way through to here to have it recirculating. That's up to you how you want that. And then the outer ring is just basically telling the actual system where to put the air to, so that's nice and easy. Your hazard lights are those ones just there. Rear fog light, or actually I think that might be front fog light. Yeah, I think that's front fog light actually. This button here will probably still light up when you press it, but it doesn't actually do anything because that's the original rear heated screen from the base fan that it's based on. So obviously that won't work because there isn't one anymore. You can lock and unlock the cab from inside, which is a real big bonus. Cruise control works off this switch just down here, so you can turn it actually on and off, and then like that. Well, I'm pretty sure that's cruise control. You can go up or down for the speed. Lights, so lights on, lights off, and obviously indicators as well. Washers and wipers. Like I said, I know you've had a van already before, so I'm going to show you all of this, but I will do. Electric adjusting mirrors, so you can literally choose which mirror you want to move. So this will be main right hand mirror and then bottom right hand mirror, and you literally use as like a little joystick and then move your mirror around to exactly where you want it. So that's basically it for the actual cab. You've also got the blackout screens for across the middle, so to actually get them to come out, you literally put your two fingers in here and squeeze together on both sides obviously, and basically you've got a magnetic strip that runs all the way through the middle, and they meet in the middle, and obviously being magnets, they come together and stick. Slightly different with these side ones, you literally pull it all the way out yourself, and there's another little magnet strip to hold that together. So it really is as easy as that. Then pull it back out, making sure that it's nice and sort of neat when you pull it back. There you go, like that. Back over. So really, really easy. Exactly the same on the other side. So yeah. Right, so I'm going to go back now and show you around the back of the van. So I will start up here by the control panel, because that seems like the most logical way to start. If I've actually got the control panel on at the moment, no hookup cable plugged in or anything like that, engine's not running, and we're sat at 12 volts, so that is absolutely perfect. If it was sat any lower than that, I'd be a bit sort of, thinking that I should put a hookup cable in. Not worried, that's a pretty good voltage anyway. But if I was going to stay here using a few bits like I am at the moment for any longer, then I'd probably want to plug a hookup cable in just to keep the battery voltage up. But that's personal preference. Water pump switch. So there's a good example. So you see there, I've turned the water pump switch on, which I'll turn off now, but it started flashing at me saying fresh water 0% full. Now, the reason for that is that we've had Mark go around and empty out all of the vans from their water. So the fresh tank is totally empty, the boiler is totally empty, everything is totally empty. So if that's the case, then that will happen. If you turn the water pump on and there's absolutely no water in the tank, you will get that coming up. The reason that happens is because if you accidentally turn on your water pump switch and there's no water in the van, then what will happen is the water pump will just run and run and run and run because it can't make up any pressure. And then after a little while, it'll get so hot that it'll start burning and things like that. So that's the reason why that happens. So there's no water in the tank, it won't get to pressure, it won't turn off. All right, that's why it tells you that. So basically what you need to do is when you take the van away, when you get home, what you want to do, in fact I will just do it now just so that you don't have to, but right the way down the bottom there, you probably can't see it on the video, but right the way down the bottom here, I might have to get my little torch out to do that, but basically down the bottom there is your little boiler drain. Now it's literally a little yellow tab that's facing upright at the moment, but when you get the van, because I'll do it in a minute, it'll be laying flat. Now if that's upright like it is at the moment, then what will happen is if you try and fill the boiler up, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, what will happen is the water will go to the boiler and then just literally drop out straight underneath. So that little lever needs to be flat rather than upright, so horizontal rather than vertical, otherwise it won't allow any water to go into the boiler. So I will do that at the end of the video, but I need a torch to get down. I can't see it, so I can't do it on the video, but there you go. That's where it is, right down the bottom. So if I just go ahead and show you now how to actually do that, like I said, what you need to do is, obviously I won't do it again now because it's flashing at me, but if I had the water tank full of water, I would then turn my pump switch on, and then come to the tap and literally turn it to the left and then pull the tap. Now what that does is that'll make sure the pump is pressurized and pulling water through. And then because the boiler is currently empty, you will get just air for about 2 or 3 minutes perhaps. Once that air stops coming out and you just get water, then that means that your boiler is totally full. If your boiler is empty like it is now, there's absolutely no way that you will get fresh, clear water coming out through the hot side. You might get a bit of cool, fresh, straight, easy water from the cold side because that's a totally different system. But what you need to do, the first thing you'll want to do when you come into the van before anything else, if you're going to use your boiler, is do that. Like I said, turn the pump on with some water in a tank, pull your pull the tap on the hot side, and then allow the boiler to fill right the way up. So if you try and light the boiler up, which is this little button just here, which I'll show you in a minute as well, with no water in it, then again, a bit like the pump, it will just sort of burn out because it'll get too hot. So that's the sort of the basics of it. If you come into the van, turn your pump switch on, assuming you've got a full tank or at least some water in the tank, pull the tap and just wait for all the air to come out of the tap and wait for the clear water to come through. Then that's a way of knowing that your boiler is definitely full. So like I said, that's what you want to do when you first come into the van. Obviously have water in your tank, which is from that little cap just outside the door. And obviously, again, make sure that your boiler's drain is horizontal rather than vertical. Once you've done all that, it's plain sailing. So yeah, I'll leave these open so I don't forget to lay that out flat, but there you go. The cooker is nice and easy. I've got the gas on at the moment. So literally all you need to remember is you've got an igniter button here, and that igniter does these 3 burners because that one's electric, the grill and the oven all at the same time. It does all of it at the same time. You've got a little diagram underneath each one of these which tells you exactly which one it does. So this one on the left hand side, if I had a hookup cable plugged in, would heat this hot plate up in the corner. So obviously leave that back in 0 all the time you're not using it, otherwise you might accidentally leave it on when you have a hookup plugged in. Bottom left burner, bottom right burner, top right burner. So these 3 here are the gas rings at the top. Grill, which is again on gas, which you need to have the door open for, and oven on the right hand side. So easy. I don't need to show you how to use that because it's just like any household cooker or another motorhome, they're all the same. So that's nice and easy. All the thermocouples work. So basically, if the flame gets blown out without you turning the button off by the wind or someone blowing it out, the thermocouple will stop any excess unburned gas coming through. So yeah, that's the cooker. I'll put that down now. Down here we might have some gas taps, I'm not sure. Yeah, so all of these gas taps down here are your individual gas isolators. So if you thought you had an individual issue, you can turn these 90 degrees so that they're horizontal as well, and that'll isolate that appliance. So they've all got a little diagram on them. So if I don't know if I can see all of them from here, but fridge, heater, water heater, can't see the other ones, ovens at the back. So yeah, so you can literally isolate them really easily from there, and your water pump is just there as well. So that's not for if you're leaving the van for a couple of days. That's for if you have an issue with something. So yeah. Right, so the other things on the actual control panel are your external light. So your awning light is this one. If I flick through here, you got wastewater level, battery current, so that's how much is being drawn, temperature outside, so it is very cold outside today. I don't think there is tank heaters, although there might be. I'm not sure, you have to have a look in the book for that. But yeah, the rest is, to be honest, the only important parts are the first 2. So, or the first couple. Ledger battery voltage, vehicle battery voltage, fresh water level, wastewater level, and that's it really. The rest of it's all just pretty random, to be totally honest. Let's go through and have a look at the voltages now. Okay, so I'll just so you know that this one up here basically swaps the power from leisure to vehicle battery. You don't need to press that button. So these ones on the right hand side here are for your heater and your boiler. So it's a bit of a confusing configuration the way that they lay it out. These two in the middle are just for lights, by the way, just for around the van. So on the left hand side, if I had a hookup cable plugged in, I'd be able to use my heater, which is this space heater down here, on electric. So if I had a hookup cable plugged in, I could go down for 500 or down for 1,000 or up for 2,000, and that's just the amount of watts basically that the actual elements use. So there's 3 separate elements basically in the back of the heater, and if you have those on for a little minute, you'll start feeling heat coming out the front of it, and then you can use your fan, which is this part just here. So if I go to the left like that, then basically straight away you'll start feeling air being pumped around through these small vents around the van. So there's 2 down here, 1 underneath the door just there, and there's also 1 in the bathroom as well. So I had the heating on the gas for probably 20 minutes when I first got in the van about half an hour ago, and the whole van is warm. So that gives you an example of how quickly and how good these little space heaters are. You know, I think they're brilliant, really. So I've got the fan on at the moment. I've just shown you how to use it on electric, but now I'll just show you how to use it on gas. So it's even easier on gas. As long as you've got a gas bottle on, all you need to do is turn this knob round to sort of 2 or 3. And it's a bit awkward to see because it's sunny outside. So you see that little bit down there? You probably see the little spark just there. If I push down now, you see it lit straight up. Now what I want to do, because that's the pilot flame, I lift up on this and turn it round to sort of 5 or 6. So you see now it's back on again. Nice clear blue flame. And that's it. That is literally all you have to do to get that to light up. So I've got the fan on at the moment at about 4. I can feel the air coming out through here in about 2 or 3 minutes. This will be boiling hot air, and you know, it's as easy as that. If you're not going to use the fan, or well, no, I'll say, if you're going to use this heater on gas, then really my sort of tip to you would be to have the fan on for about 5 or 10 minutes afterwards, after you turn it off. Because when you turn these systems off, you get a massive rush of heat coming through the front. It won't do you any harm, but if you leave the fan on, you notice this. I mean, I can put my hand here at the moment because the fan is drawing all of the air. So that's the fan just down the back there. The fan is drawing all of the hot air around the van rather than coming directly out the front. Now, if you turn the gas off after about half an hour or so of using it, you'd be impressed how much boiling hot air comes out through the front of these. So my advice to you is to just leave the fan on for 5-10 minutes after using it, so that you sort of evenly distribute the air around the van. Plus it works much better with the fan on to heat the actual van up. So there you go, just a little tip. So I'll turn that off now, show you how to do that. So I'd literally just turn it all the way back round to 0, and I'll just show you what that does in there. So you'll see it will drop back to just the pilot like that now, and then you go all the way back down to 0. All right, so you see it sort of fade out like that. That's because you've got a little thermocouple in there, just like you do on the hobs, and basically that's just the thermocouple cooling down. That's what that red part was. And then, like I said, I'll just leave the fan on for a minute just to actually keep, because at the moment, even though I've turned the flame off, there's still loads of heat coming, pumping around the van. So if you wait 5 minutes or so, it'll still be sort of half warm air pumping around. But when you then turn that fan off, you won't get a massive rush coming out the front. Also, don't hang anything on the front of these, because it's basically, they'll burn, rather than, if you're trying to dry some socks on it or something like that, you'll find that it'll just burn your socks rather than dry them. So make sure you do not do that. So there you go. So yeah, so this is how you use the actual heater, like I just showed you there on the gas, but this is how you use it on electric only. And this one just here, I won't turn it on because I've not got any water in the boiler, but basically this is your boiler on gas. So as long as you've come into the van and done what I showed you at the start, which was turn the pump on and make sure that you've got a full tank of water in the boiler so that the water's coming through nice and easy with no air, you can then turn this on. Also assuming that you've taken off your cover on the outside of the van as well. So that's how those bits work. Electric heating, and gas water heating. This button up the top here does lights around the van, so you've got these ones just here, so that literally just turns them on and off. You've got your AV cables just here, 12 volt goes in there, satellite, I don't really have to show you, it's all labelled. So basically if you had a TV, this is where you would normally put it, or perhaps up here if you wanted it as well, so you could literally pop the wires through down there. Up to you, depends what you have. Right, also down here you've just got more light switches dotted around, so you've got a light for up there as well. And this button here is for the step. So that's that. The fridge is probably one of the easiest parts, I must admit. It's an automatic lighting fridge. So at the moment it doesn't look like it, but I have actually got it lit on gas. So if I just click this button once, or push and hold it, you'll be able to see there. Alright, so that's how you light it up on gas. If I wanted to change it to electric, I would just click this mode button, basically flick it through, and the one at the top there is the electric hookup. It's flashing red because I've not got a hookup cable plugged in. And if I wanted to change it to 12 volt, so that's when your engine's running, then I'd just do that as well. So you literally just press the mode button to flick through and choose which one you want. But for the moment, because I've only got gas on at the moment, I should put it down there, it will light up on its own. And that's it. So that is literally as easy as that for that. The idea with these fridges is that basically you need to get the fridge cold either via the gas or the electric hookup first. Now that does take hours to cool down, to be fair. You know, it's not going to happen in half an hour. It won't work like that. So basically, if you get the fridge cold with all your stuff in it, I personally advise for you to do it the night before you go away. Seems to be plenty. If you do that on gas or electric the night before, or a good 3-4 hours before you go away, you can then just switch it over to the 12 volt switch there, just for when you're driving to where you're going. And when you get there, switch it back over to one of the other two, because like I said, the 12 volt won't do anything until your engine's running. So either one of those two. If you have gas, great. If you have a hookup, pretty much, even better really. So yeah, it's as easy as that. But just, I don't want you thinking that it's going to get cold really, really quickly. They just don't, to be honest. But there you go, that's how you use that. I'll just turn it off now, so just push and hold there. That's it. I'll also turn this little fan off now. So yeah, in this locker here, you've got this little bit up here, so that turns the light off when you shut the door. So that'll do that automatically. I'm going to leave that open so I don't forget to turn it off, like I said. We have adjusted this down here, so the actual supporting beam there comes over to the right hand side rather than in the middle. I think it was something popping some chairs in or something like that. So that's all there done, so you can fit those in now. Also did the repainted this part on the cooker top, so there's no rusty parts on it anymore. And also your trays in here. I basically took them off and wire brushed them back to the original paint. Got rid of all those rusty parts on there as well. So that is all done. So in the bathroom itself, I don't need to show you how to use the tap. It's exactly the same as the other tap. All I will say is that if you get back home and start trying to fill your water up and find that you think there's still air in the system, then it's an idea sometimes to come through and do the shower and the sink as well. Because it's all run off the same system, if there's air in these two, there'll be air in the whole thing. So just do it in every single one. It's sort of common practice if you've winterized a vehicle like we have now, because of obviously the temperature, then it's standard practice to have to do that really. What else have we got? A light switch just here, so that turns on these lights, and obviously the light in the shower as well. I'll turn that off. The toilet flush, obviously we're yet to give it a good clean out, so don't worry about that. The flush itself literally just comes through like that. So again, no water in the actual van, so that won't work at the moment. But yeah, easy as that really. To drain it out is open up the flap like that and then close it back up. And the other thing is, the only thing to sort of point out really is when you open the flap up, the cassette on the outside is totally locked up then. So if you're going to try and take the cassette out and empty, you need to make sure that that flap is closed. Alright, so I think that's about it for the bathroom. Yeah, so I think I've covered about all I can. Try to be thorough with it. Skylights, you've got a full blackout screen like that, which is all in good condition, and also a fly screen, which again is in good condition. There's no sort of rips or tears. Close that back over. To actually open it up, you literally unwind this until you start going up like that. And then that'll sit on its own. When you come to turning it down, don't think that that's locked up now. You need to keep on going until you get to a bit of resistance, like that. Once I got there, pop that back up over like that. And that's it, properly locked up. I think that's about it, really. Don't know if there's anything else to show you. No. Okay. So, I think I've covered everything I can. If you think I've missed anything out or you want anything covering, then let us know. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.